Welcome back, riders and road lovers. Today we're diving into the 2025 Honda Gold Wing, the motorcycle world's quintessential grand tourer. If you've chased comfort, confidence, and a cruise mile highway smile all at once, this is the ride that keeps setting the bar higher. In the next few minutes, we'll explore what makes the 2025 Gold Wing feel fresher without losing the essence that built its legend: effortless power, plush touring comfort, and a tech-loaded environment that makes long-distance journeys feel almost effortless. From the moment you lay eyes on it, the 2025 Gold Wing has that unmistakable Honda silhouette: the long, low lines, a sculpted fairing that wraps the cockpit, and a windscreen that looks as much like a shield as a shielded sightline. The styling is evolutionary rather than revolutionary, which is exactly what Gold Wing buyers want: something familiar that's clearly new when you sit in the saddle. The fairing is still a fusion of form and function, designed to swallow wind at highway speeds while keeping rider and passenger protected from buffeting. The side panels feel tighter, with a more integrated look around the fuel tank and the engine bay, giving the bike a tidier, more premium presence on the road. If you're listening for the heartbeat, the engine remains the centerpiece. The 2025 Gold Wing retains Honda's legendary 1,800-something cubic centimeter flat 6 arrangement, the smooth, low-vibration power plant that has defined the Gold Wing for decades. What you feel here is not a raw sprint but a wave of refined, broad torque that builds in the mid-range and flows into the upper revs with a quiet, controlled cadence. The character is unmistakably glide, pull hard off the line, and you'll find the chassis leaning into a confident acceleration that never feels aggressive for aggression's sake. It's the kind of power that's easy to live with, especially when you're spanning hours on the highway or rolling through mountains with a passenger and luggage in tow. Two transmission choices remain part of the package: a traditional 6-speed manual and Honda's revered DCT, dual-clutch transmission. The DCT, which many riders cite as a reason to choose a Gold Wing for long tours, continues to be a standout feature, delivering smooth, nearly seamless gear changes. For highway cruising, the DCT can feel almost telepathic, the throttle response and shift logic tuned to minimize drivetrain interruption as you roll across long road stretches. If you prefer a more involved ride, the manual remains available with a crisp, generous clutch action and precise shifter throws that feel right at home in a touring setup. In this 2025 iteration, expect even smoother engagement and a refined throttle map that keeps the transition from gear to gear nearly invisible to the rider's senses. Let's talk ride quality, because that's where the Gold Wing earns its keep in the touring space. The chassis geometry, suspension tuning, and damping are curated for long-haul comfort without surrendering a sense of control on twisty roads. The front and rear suspension work in harmony, smoothing over rough surfaces and road imperfections that would unsettle lesser bikes. The result is a ride that feels grounded and composed, even when the pavement isn't perfectly smooth. The seat, a hallmark of the Gold Wing experience, is broad enough to support long-duration riding with a cushiony layer that leaves you feeling rested rather than fatigued. The passenger seat is equally generous, with contouring designed to keep comfort high over miles. Wind protection is a major part of why the Gold Wing excels on long trips. The windscreen offers a broad, adjustable range, and the aerodynamics of the fairing are calibrated to minimize wind noise and turbulence. For riders who spend days on the road, that translates to fewer fatigue double checks at the end of a long day. The cockpit layout keeps essential controls within easy reach. The left-hand cluster hosts the primary ride mode selector, the cruise control toggle, and the electronic parking brake-ish function, if equipped, while the right side is dominated by the throttle and the DCT controls or manual shifter mechanics, depending on your configuration. The overall ergonomics feel deliberate and forgiving, designed to reduce fatigue without compromising precision or feedback. Electronic wizardry defines the 2025 Gold Wing in ways that matter most to touring riders. The bike uses a sophisticated 7-axis inertial measurement unit (IMU) that manages stability and balance with the kind of nuance that makes a 4-wheel road glide feel stable in any weather. ABS is integrated with traction control, the whole package tuned to preserve grip while empowering confident cornering and lane changes. The electronics package also supports ride modes that tailor throttle response, torque delivery, and chassis response to the rider's preference or riding conditions. In practice, you can switch from a more relaxed setup for freeway cruising to a more spirited profile for canyon runs, and the bike responds with a refined, almost instant adjustment of the engine mapping and suspension behavior. Cruise control on a Gold Wing is more than a convenience, it's an extension of the riding experience. The system is responsive, stable at speed, and harmonizes with the IMU-driven stability control to maintain a smooth, effortless pace on long stretches. For GPS and navigation enthusiasts, the 2025 model continues to feature an integrated infotainment hub with a large TFT display that's crisp in daylight, capable of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, and easy to read at a glance while encased in protective, weather-toughened glass. The navigation is intuitive, with map routes that feel like a natural extension of the rider's intention, and the audio system delivers clear, road-appropriate sound with enough power to be heard over the wind but not so loud it becomes tiresome over hours of riding. Baggage and comfort have always been strong suits for the Gold Wing, and the 2025 model keeps that mantle. The trunk and side cases offer generous capacity for a range of touring gear, rugs, a few spare layers, rain gear, and a weekend's worth of wardrobe for a couple of riders are easily accommodated. Access to the cases is straightforward, and the locking mechanisms feel solid and reliable. Sitting on a Gold Wing is like sitting in a small, well-appointed cabin on wheels. There's room to stretch, a forgiving seating position, and a sense that everything is designed around you enjoying the miles rather than fighting for every inch of space. What about rider aids and safety tech? Honda has long built a philosophy of comprehensive, usable electronics into the Gold Wing. The 2025 edition continues with advanced rider aids calibrated for touring duty. Expect intelligent ABS and traction control that respond to braking and throttle input in a way that supports confidence whether you're carving a mountain pass or easing into a stop at a traffic light. The IMU-driven systems help manage cornering stability, disc brake bite feels consistent, and the chassis remains composed even as you push into a lean. There's also hill start assistance that makes those uphill launches at stop signs or in parking lots less nerve-wracking. The overall effect is a machine that communicates clearly with the rider, readable, predictable, and reassuring. The design and finish are things you'll notice in person. The paint quality is rich, with panels aligned to achieve a cohesive look that's both premium and long-wearing. The controls, switches, and dash have that tactile solidity you expect from Honda. They feel like they'll endure a lifetime of touring journeys. The lighting package, LEDs across the front and rear, delivers visibility and a modern, premium feel. The overall package is understated elegance rather than flamboyance, a bike that doesn't shout but earns respect with every mile. If you're weighing value against the competition, the 2025 Gold Wing sits in a space where it must justify its status through comfort on long rides, reliability, and the breadth of features. In that context, the bike's strengths aren't just simply more power or more tech, they're the cumulative effect of an engineering philosophy that prioritizes rider experience. Compare it to other premium tourers, BM's GT lineup, certain Yamaha and Harley-Davidson touring models, and perhaps even some three-bike luxury cruiser options, and what stands out is how effortless the Gold Wing makes the act of riding long distances feel. It's less about chasing peak performance and more about delivering a consistently superb travel companion. Let's talk practicality in daily life and real-world use. The 2025 Gold Wing is a bike that can handle both your occasional weekend ride and a cross-country trip with equal aplomb. Day-to-day commuting is quiet and comfortable, with a seating position that doesn't demand a rider to sacrifice posture for speed. But when you flip the switch to Tour, the real magic comes alive. The wind protection is outstanding, the luggage capacity is generous, and the level of electronics support is balanced, not so much that it distracts you, but enough to catch and correct minor missteps before they become fatigue or danger. If you're a partner in the saddle, someone who wants to share the far horizon, the bike's comfort and stability invite longer rides, and the passenger experience is treated with the same level of care as the riders. Maintenance and ownership experience are part of the package, too. Honda's service intervals for a flagship touring model like this are structured to minimize downtime and maximize reliability. The Gold Wing has a reputation for being durable and dependable, two virtues that matter a lot when you're asking a bike to carry you, a passenger, and luggage across continent-spanning trips. The 2025 model carries forward that reliability with incremental improvements in cooling efficiency, fuel delivery, and electronics cooling, which helps preserve performance and longevity even after many miles. If you're someone who values long-term ownership happiness, the Gold Wing continues to be a compelling choice in this segment. A quick note on customization and riding personality. Honda offers a variety of accessories and packages that tailor the Gold Wing to your touring style. Whether you want extra luggage, a different windscreen, heated grips, or a bespoke comfort seat, there are options to smooth out your preferred route. If you're a solo rider who spends most of the time on scenic highways, you can configure the cockpit and seat to favor a more extended ride feel. If you frequently ride up through varied climates, there are settings and accessories designed to keep that experience refined and enjoyable. Practical tips if you're considering buying one. First, sit on the bike and check the ergonomics with your ideal riding position in mind. The Gold Wing seat height and footpeg placement are designed to fit a broad range of riders, but your torso length and leg reach will determine how natural the stance feels. Test the DCT in both automatic and manual modes if you're curious about how shifts feel under load and at different speeds. Take a short ride with the windscreen at a few different heights, you'll discover how the aero balance changes with your posture and height. Finally, test the infotainment system with a smartphone quickly to ensure the interface and audio levels meet your expectations for long-distance trips. For those curious about pricing and market positioning, the Gold Wing remains a premium proposition. You're paying for advanced engineering, comfort, and an ecosystem of features designed to make riding more enjoyable and less tiring. If you compare it to other touring machines in the same space, you'll find that the value proposition isn't solely about raw numbers, it's about longevity, the sense of confidence it provides, and the ability to turn a long day into a memorable, almost effortless journey. Expect the 2025 price to reflect its premium status, with options and packages that can significantly adjust the final figure depending on features like DCT, audio, navigation, and heated equipment. To wrap up, the 2025 Honda Gold Wing stands as one of the most accomplished touring motorcycles you can buy. It doesn't chase trend, it refines tradition. It blends a refined, powerful engine with a comfort-first chassis, an electronics package that's useful rather than intrusive, and a design that ages gracefully while continuing to offer modern conveniences. If you're a rider who wants to turn miles into memories, or a duo seeking long-haul harmony with as little fatigue as possible, this is a bike that deserves serious consideration. What's the bottom line? The 2025 Gold Wing remains the gold standard in grand touring for a reason. It delivers exceptional comfort, generous luggage capacity, and an electronics suite that's both robust and approachable. It's not about brute speed or showmanship, it's about the cumulative experience of riding, relaxing, confident, and endlessly capable. If your ideal ride is a machine that makes you feel at home on the road anywhere, the 2025 Honda Gold Wing is worth a very close look. If you enjoyed this look at the 2025 Honda Gold Wing, tell me what you'd like to see next. Are you considering one for your next long trip, or are you torn between the Wing and its top rivals? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want, I can tailor a detailed buyer's guide based on your riding style, climate, and typical road types. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss future reviews, ride-alongs, and long-form tours that bring you closer to the road you love. On screen, B-roll of the Gold Wing gliding through a scenic mountain pass, then a close-up on the dash displaying the infotainment screen. A rider leans into a corner, the bike showing confident, controlled lean. Cut to a quiet highway scene with the windscreen at mid-height, rider hands resting on the bars, day turning to dusk. On-screen suggestion. Voiceover continues as the camera tracks the bike ahead, then settles on the rider's hands and the smooth shift of gears through a mountain pass. If you're filming this, consider a sequence showing both solo and two-up configurations, with and without the DCT engaged, to illustrate the flexibility of the transmission and comfort. End card. Visit the channel for more in-depth reviews, maintenance tips, and live ride demos. See you on the next ride.